I do believe we are live on all platforms that I use, and so I say let's go ahead and get started. So this is not going to be a super long stream. Where I live, it is currently 11:11, and so I actually have an early morning tomorrow, and so I cannot stay up super late like I have in the past couple of nights, and so we're just going to see how far we can get. I'm probably going to peace out around midnight-ish, unless I get just really absorbed in the game, so we'll see what happens there. But we are picking up where we left off, so at this point in time, look at that. I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit. I'm not sure. That's too low. So we are the defense attorney in a court case that seems to be open and shut. Number one, we live in a technologically advanced society where just about everything is caught on surveillance, very much a surveillance state, nanny state sort of dealio. Most crimes don't even go to trial because someone saw uploaded video, CCTV. Apparently you can actually upload your own memories as footage, etc. And in addition to that, the person is apparently a serial killer. I think it's like the bloodstain killer or something like that. I could be wrong about that. Okay, heartbreak killer. Because apparently he's really precise at shooting people directly through the heart. And so at this point in time, I have not met my client. I don't know anything about the case. I just know that London and Reyes, the two cops who are on the case, all seem to believe that it is an open and shut case, which in these sorts of games almost always means that it's not. But we shall see. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. Where are we? There we go. Currently texting with... Wait. How does this work? Oh. Okay. That was weird. It just got cut. I don't think I can... You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. I'm now wondering why I can't... Anyway. So, the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Here's the link. Alright, if I project from my phone... Oh yeah, it creates, if I'm, the ARCs creates like a full-on crime scene. Yeah, augmented reality crime scene, okay. Alright, let's see what the police have and what they, let's see what the police have and what they think is important. Okay, let me go ahead and check. Do I need to have anything new in my file? No, okay. So, I want to make sure I examine absolutely everything. So it looks like they want me to look at this mirror body. Okay. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point, and yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. Okay, so we also have the gun. A stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Okay, something. Oh, we have an evidence file now. Love that for us. Okay. pieces of glass from a broken standing mirror found at the crime scene. Said mirror was a low-tech furnishing with no digital components to pull data from, hit with enough force to scatter shards of glass onto the victim's body, and an unremarkable ceramic vase was found knocked over the crime scene. Weighty and sturdy, it remains featureless even after being tossed. Okay. So for the time being, I think I'm just going to let the evidence be, and I'm going to focus on here. The victim's body. Cause of death: ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensic, and all that other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Interesting. I want to examine some of the other... Anywho. And the murder weapon, a revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing, but all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. Okay, that is wild. I could never. Horrified. Anywho. But no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, already trying to piece some things together here. Fascinating that you've got ceramic debris over here. The vase was tossed somewhere else, but the vase seems to have no marks on it. Meaning that this would have had to have come from something else if I'm not mistaken. Flag as irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Nah. It's time for me to look at some other things. Hold on, what evidence do we have? Okay, we've got the debris. We've got the revolver, 10mm, well maintained but old, has Flat's left hip. Fingerprint on it, so his name is Flats. I can't help but think of the flounder from SpongeBob. Same handlework as previous 5 lab message. Confirmed ballistics match 2. Okay. I guess my question... Hold on, wait a minute. Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and triprexazone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Glucocorticoid, is that diabetes medication? Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. Okay, so no, something different. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker is everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs, nothing that points to anyone except my client. Oh, we got it. Internet of Things refers to the network data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with. Wow, I cannot talk. Phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications, and prosthetics, and of course automated dependents, all comprise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss out on the valuable insight that data has to offer. One of the coolest ways IoT improves our lives is through the usage of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own identifying information. Throughout your day, as your own IoT devices say hi to other devices, they'll leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification and payment, and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs let you see where you've been so that you can see where you should go. Want to start leaving crumbs right away? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. Interesting. Okay. And we've got the pill organizer. Okay, so Trifrexazone is for mod sensitivity complications, and the cases class are surprisingly difficult to open. Okay. So mod sensitivities, do we have a term for mod? I know it's like body modifications, but I'm wondering if they give any detail about that. They do not. Okay. Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. Interesting. Okay, so they're not going to let me examine too much more. Oh no. Hold on. YouTube is not receiving... Wait, hold on. We're not... Hold on. Sorry. I have to figure out... There's an error on the YouTube side, but apparently not on the Twitch side? That's weird. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to leave it be for now. It looks like things are going fine on the Twitch side, but I want to keep an eye out for it. I don't... No dropped frames. Okay, I'm going to keep going, and I'll just keep an eye on that. And make sure that it doesn't transfer over to... Twitch as well. Anyway, I'm really gonna have to... I feel like I missed a log somewhere. Okay. That's just a delayed response. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get start. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? I have a message. I have more evidence. Okay, augmented reality crime scene data from the victim's apartment. Lossless capture confirms the following. Victim was shot from the room's doorway. No unexpected DNA present. No unexpected crumbs present. No unexpected fingerprints present. No evidence of digital tampering. So it sounds like, as much as we kind of had this narrative of like, we had this big narrative about how, it must have been a robot to be able to shoot 6 times or whatever. It very much sounds like whoever this was did things very, very old school. First person who comes to mind is, I suppose it could be something important. Fred! Currently texting with Brad. I'm guessing that's my little sibling. What couldn't wait until morning? Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Well, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What do they do? Make me run laps. Lord. Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot. Okay, I like Brat already. I know that's not her real name, but whole vibe, whole mood. And use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Wow. Okay, this is funny. Is it HBK? HBK. I don't know what that means. Is that the kind of morbid thing is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about? I don't know what HBK is. I don't know what that means, and I feel... Listen, actually no, I don't have access to my keyboard right now. Listen, we're just gonna roll with it. Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines, old-fashioned murder like Cardi B is... Oh, HBK, Heartbreak Killer. I got it. Old-fashioned murder like Cardi B is... Cardi. Wait. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking up lost cause probe nose work? Pro bono, probe nose? Okay. It's pro bono. There we go. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? Everything's answered with AI these days. Sorry, I work as a tutor, and the proliferation of AI usage in schools is quite a bit. This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart, or just a sucker. Not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday, I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday, because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Oh wait, do they have school on Saturdays now? Oh, that's an unfortunate development for the kids of the future. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Okay, so I can ask about all of these, but I can't ask about... By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? I thought there'd at least be a few androids around. Oh wait, hold on. I gave him a southern accent last time. Aren't many androids in any police station this week, not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corps there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saves us money on shipping, at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids? Warm, ugh. Might as well call it the adult line. You might see them in bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. I'm sorry, big fan of Detroit Become Human, which does canonically take place about 50 years before this. Obviously different universes, but that's still a little silly thing that I find funny. Okay. Oh! YouTube is back online. Hell yeah. Okay. Any day now. Guess we should be expecting those any day now. Maybe android lawyers, too. Get some android politicians in and we'd have the full set. Get real. People might like ads who do what they're told, but they despise ads who tell them what to do. I'm not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The police union wouldn't let that happen. she needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is, anyway. Details. So how about the basics? Wow, these voices are not distinct enough for me to not get them confused, especially at 11:31 at night. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Using his middle name already, they really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree, that's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people, so you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times, so what's that make him? 5 times, and that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. Okay, let's look at some of these profiles. Okay, so we don't know anything about Flat yet. I hate the fact that the angle and the swoop of the hair already tells me that he's going to be hot. Because of course, why wouldn't he be? Anyway, July 8th, 189 centimeters, 94 heads. B- first degree homicide, civil... Okay. So, no charges for 2 civil disturbances. He's registered at birth. I briefly got this confused. I was watching South of Midnight where we were talking about how some kids weren't registered at birth if they were born at home. I don't think that applies here at all. Industrial modifications, class 4. Yeah, I'm already getting the oh no, he's hot vibes from... The victim, Diane Dawn, was a 27-year-old agricultural genetics researcher for Peregrine Laboratories, found shot through the heart in the bedroom of the apartment she shares with prime suspect Carlos Flat. No known connection with previous HK victims. Okay, so that's already raising a flag for me. Nah, I don't like that, because if they live together, there's no reason why they shouldn't have crumbs shared in common. If anything, they should have the most crumbs in common. Unless I'm misunderstanding how that system works. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So the serial killer chose his victims at random? If they have nothing in common... Yeah, nothing in common at all, other than that they all look like cousins. Oh no. Oh, I don't like where this is going, y'all. I do not like where this is going. In a digital autopsy, the law-enforcement process of locating, bypassing authentication on, and investigating all of the deceased individuals' online profiles commonly used to seek out possible connections to other suspects or other victims. The widely utilized practice has been scrutinized in the past by some privacy advocates, but many victims' family, who lack the ability to find, let alone access, all of their deceased loved ones' accounts, argue for its necessities. Comparable processes are offered as a paid service by some legal or funerary groups to help next of kin recover or delete sensitive personal data. At times, these services have been marketed as a defense against data criminals attempting to steal the identities of the dead before their accounts are wiped by state processes. Users also frequently search for grave cobbling, how to stop stolen identity, and how to delete dead profile. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same weight, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. Are you really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think, what, exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly that he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. if the shoe fits, then you put the shoe on the... What sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. Not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Whoa. The heck was that? Oh, that was disquieting. Okay. Anywho. I saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth, but we've managed thanks to left bias sources. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the couple problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the art, there was trouble. Things turned over, left shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp, but we heard from enough concerned citizens pretty short of time. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the sound that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrive on the street at 9:08 p.m., establish a perimeter, enter through the open front door at 9:10 p.m. And then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. Okay. So, just... Oh no, a little unhinged, a little unstable. Okay. Huh. Okay, we are dropping frames. I don't know how to stop that from happening. Listen, thank y'all for your patience. We are very much still trying to figure things out. Okay, so for the time being, it looks like the number of frames dropped has stopped. It's not rising, so I'm going to keep going. That said, I am going to save on it. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and save on a different file just in case I need to go a bit further back, because we haven't been going for so long that it's going to necessitate. And I'm also going to read some of the side things while we wait for things to resolve. Okay. So definitely freezing still. Unfortunately, I just don't know how to fix this problem. I'm gonna have to do some more research. That said, I am gonna go ahead and read some of these little side things. Okay, net scrubbing. Refers to the process of scouring all available data posted on the net within a certain time. Frame and location range for evidence of a crime, an increasingly common technique for police departments, corporate investigators, and occasionally public relations firms. While the brute force work is either performed by automated dependents, either digital or physical, experienced human supervisors must establish strict search constraints in order to produce usable results. Interest in the practice spiked when Senator Bancroft positioned it as a key pillar of his party's law and order platform. The pollings indicated voters rarely held a strong opinion on the process, and the topic has since faded from political discourse. And we've also got evidence of a code. The coat the suspect was wearing was taken into custody, taken by lab techs for additional analysis. The initial tests show blood on the left sleeve matches that. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and start theorizing here. Obviously, I don't think my client did it. That's probably just because of, oh. Stream seems to be going back online. Beautiful. Okay. My guess is that the boyfriend either left or was there when it happened. I'm guessing Heartbreak Killer comes in, kills the girlfriend. Like I said, one shoot to the heart. Very impersonal. I'm guessing it's like the serial killer's MO. Boyfriend comes home, is like, oh my goodness, I know we were fighting, but now you're dead. Like, regardless of whether or not he did it, I imagine him, like, holding her, you know? The whole, oh my god, how could you be gone? Like, that seems fairly logical to me. But we shall see. At which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his and singular? Your client's modded. Cybernetic right arm. How modded are we talking about here? Registered with HAO 85 Catalyst, industrial grade looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to 4 kPa, which means, I don't know what the kPa stands for, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Okay, hold on. So, HAL Industries Havelis 2085 mechanical limb boasts an impressive combination of grip strength, dexterity, and low cost of maintenance. The success of it and its history went a long way towards securing state contracts for HAL Industries. I'm wondering if that's like a military grade thing, because that doesn't sound like the sort of mod that anyone would get. Anyway. Body modifications, aka mods, is a term that may refer to cybernetic prosthetics, artificial implants, neural enhancements, or any combination of the above. While body modifications have been seen throughout history and across a wide range of cultures, the modern body modification movement is differentiated by a shift from intrinsic factors, expression, or identity, to extrinsic motivators, job opportunities, technological benefits, or improvements in physical or mental ability. Historically, mods have been classified on which section of the user's spinal cord the interfacing occurs at, thoracic, lumbar, or cervical, but this system does not account for mods which interact directly with the human brain. The increased prevalence of so-called above-the-neck modding in recent years has led to several corporations and medical organizations proposing their own new classification systems, but so far none have gained much traction. Users also frequently search for can you return mods, can you undo mod surgery, and best reviewed neural implants 2086. Interesting, okay. Cool. Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? But getting back on track, the arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance he'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else. Okay. But if the gun was fired... Okay, he has a cybernetic right hand, right? And I'm imagining that cybernetic hands don't have fingerprints, meaning that it couldn't have been his... Hold on. Sorry, I'm already trying to start piecing this together. So... Okay, oh shit. Has Flat's left hand fingerprints on it. Is he left-handed, though? Okay, so... Okay, cool. Left sleeve, left hand. But it doesn't say which of his fingerprints. Okay, yeah, okay. A revolver, what kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered 10mm. Calver. How retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How is that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp, trigger pull, safeties coded to owner biometric. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some sort of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then, M54, that's model year 2054. This is a 32-year-old gun. This gun is older than me. A manufacturer of civilian firearms from 2031 to 2062, when it was bought out by Thortec, an acquisitions group specializing in security and national defense, now a subsidiary of the Lock-Chun Defense Corporation. Lock-Chun Defense Corporation. Though no guns have borne the Calver branding since the production halted in 2060, the once iconic brand was briefly revived in 2071 Q2 with a series of video game memorabilia tie-in promotions meant to increase in-game item sales before being discontinued in 2071 Q3 for failing to increase in-game item sales. Wow. We're bringing back the gun so that hopefully you'll purchase more video game content is wild and also totally on brand. A Calver M54 6-chambered 10mm revolver. Bears fingerprints matching Carlos Baker Flat's left hand with 99.91% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullet which pierced the victim with 99.97% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullets from previous heartbreak killings with 98.98 to 98.989% certainty. No matches to any other archived forensic data as far back as 2051. Listen. They are laying this on thick. They are laying this on thick. Like, this man's might have done it. He didn't. I know that's how this works, but Lord Jesus. A 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too. The novelty of this weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put them away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks. Bullets fired from guns that are older marked by the barrel shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug-and-play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The Calver your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at least 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what it's looking like. I'm looking forward to interrogating the guy, but... Oof. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his affect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Oof. Whew. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret, while its reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Okay, so now we encountered an issue while processing your request. Hey there, it looks like you're trying to search for a term related to an ongoing investigation. Until authorities have made their findings public, results may be heavily curated or temporarily unavailable. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. That's a... That is a double-edged sword right there. Like, the whole... Until authorities have, like, combating misinformation and disinformation is huge. Until it's the authorities, until it's the state, then trying to share and foment and circulate the misinformation and disinformation. It's really a question of who you trust and who you don't. And at this point in time, 60 years before this game takes place, the answer is already not very many people. And so I'm very, very curious about how this is probably going to show up later on. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out the woodworks in just a few weeks. Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, Detective. National DNA Registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at an all-time high. But you gonna start some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy? I'm sorry, the fact that invasion of privacy at this point in time is an alternative political statement is wild to me. And also deeply unfortunate. Also, alt-pol is a really interesting term. No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other point in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. The pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. I'm not gonna lie, the screenshots, the flip, that's jarring every single time. That's like a fight or flight, like what's happening here, almost like I'm getting ready for a boss fight. And yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates that we starve the media for KC. Is that standard operations and procedures, I'm guessing? I don't know. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I'm very curious about the politics of it. I'm also, like, as I'm going through this and also, like, living at such an interesting time in history, I find myself, like, wondering what my own politics are. Like, how... I don't know. I feel... I know I've already posted a video, where one of my little... I snipped one of my little political rambles, but this is just bringing up a lot of interesting questions, because it's one thing to respond to current political situations. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Multiverse Sonic. I also have never heard of such a thing. But no, like, hindsight is 20/20, and it's one thing to respond to issues as they arise in the present moment. The thing is, like, none of us can really actually truly predict what the future will hold, but I really like specfic like this, speculative fiction like this, because it allows us to think forward, if that makes sense. It's probably like really generic and I'm losing words here, but like, I think that speculative fiction has a really unique place in the conversations that we have about who we want to be, where we want to head as a collective, because we aren't just responding to what's happening in the here and now. We're imagining what could be in the future and like adjusting our perspectives accordingly. Or not even in the future, but just like, how do our principles hold up, match up, or not when we're placed in a different context? Like, I'm currently sitting here, you know, in the year 2025, when the big conversation just about if you're doom scrolling on social media, you probably can't go 5 posts without someone talking about AI, talking about misinformation, disinformation, talking about the environmental impacts, talking about the educational impacts, talking about the societal impacts. AI gone right, AI gone wrong, AI gone so right that it's gone wrong, AI that's gone so wrong that maybe it could finally circle back around to being right. You know, thinking about the role that AI plays, the difference between generative AI and other sorts of AI, like the one that was designed to identify moldy bread and can now, I think, identify cancer cells. AI that is being used for any number of things, for surveillance, for all of these things. And it's really, I don't want to say easy because I think it's important, but like, we can get caught up in what's happening in the present moment, which makes sense because it's what's immediately relevant to us. But like, thinking about things future casting, I think is really interesting, especially like, I tend to believe that I'm a rather principled person. I tend to think that I know what I believe in an immediate context, but then like looking down the road, and not in a sense of like whataboutisms, because you can what about just about anything, but taking modern day principles and affixing them to a speculative fiction thing where circumstances are just a bit different, are just a bit off in certain ways. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I'm kind of rambling, but I'm really excited to see where this goes. This is really, really interesting. Also, whenever this scene ends, I am going to go ahead and call it quits because it is almost midnight and I am getting a little bit sleepy. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. Oh no. Hold on, what? The opt-in crime surveillance system, abbreviated as OPTICS, is a partnership program between the state and private enterprises that allows for the free sharing of surveillance and security data to better promote and preserve public safety. Accessible through state employee logins or private partner accounts, OPTICS Smart UI allows users to search through and collate footage from a city of tens of millions in just a few simple keystrokes. OPTICS is frequently cited in state reports as one of the most effective tools for reducing crime, and footage from OPTICS often serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings, where it is considered admissible by default. See People v. Erewhon. Users frequently search for public safety measures in my area and daily security level. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but OPTICS is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? Oh, this is one hell of a prologue. Damn. I understand your concern, ma'am, but optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance, deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. Like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. Excuse me. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy math manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK's only ever struck at times and locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence. And speak of the devil... Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics. Also no motive, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he set out to do all along. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Aren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to 1 or 2 unlisted. Okay. Some X's, I don't know what a CI is. I'm not sure what the unlisted are either. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have, to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastards. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a hit. Well, that feels like a great place to end it for tonight. Because what on earth? I am well aware. I'm well aware